Hello, 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 our Unblinded movement. Welcome to Why Wednesday. My name's Fernando, and you are here at the Unblinded Morning Huddle, which is the #1 place to start your day with a daily dose of integrity-based human influence. And today, as we get started, I'm curious on your why. Maybe your why in life, or maybe like why you're here. We have people from all over the world. We have people that have been to over 100 huddles, 200 huddles, maybe even 300 huddles, as we're reaching our 1,000th huddle very soon. And we have some people that are tuning in for the first time. So as you get here, and welcome, to all new members and newer members, please share in the chat, where you're calling in from, and maybe why you're here. And maybe we can find some people together that share the same reason, and there's opportunity for ecosystem merging. Because let's not forget that we are here to, prime ourselves on what to do with our 10 by 10, what to do with our company's business to make more money and less time with more magic. And we're also here to merge ecosystems with some really awesome people. So in the chat, if you want to share, who you are, where you're calling in from, and maybe why you're here. It could be one word, it could be a small sentence, it can be, anything at all. Let's share in the chat in service of getting to know each other, some loving energy, and the opportunities for some connection. We have, 6 human needs, one of them being loving connection. And this is a community. We're a village, we're a team, we're a family, and we're here for each other. And we cannot support each other unless we know what we're looking for. So in the chat, let's share where we're calling in from, who we are, and maybe just one word or one sentence on why we're on this call today. Why Unblinded? Why here? Why wake up early? Adam and Sean and I are in mountain time, so it is 6:30 our time, and we're waking up, and we've never missed a huddle. I don't think Sean and I have ever, definitely not together. I think Sean maybe missed one. I missed a few as I was sick a few weeks back, or better said, not optimal health. And besides that, we've always been here. And our why is because we love people unconditionally with boundaries, and we're here to change the world one human being at a time, through teaching them that influence is a superpower. It's present here, and we can teach it. So let's see what we got in the chat. Peter Swain is rocking, ready to accelerate in the house. Hala is echoing, this is the best place to start your day with a daily dose of integrity-based human influence. Darren is here to learn how to listen to others' needs and make them feel listened to. Mike is here because the formula is better than any other way I've seen, and it's the way. We have someone with an email that I'm sorry I can't purely read, is here to learn about 10 by 10. We have Josephine, who is here from Orlando. And any questions, please share. We'd love to ask. We'd like to answer. If you can drop a question in the chat, we love to address it on any other matter, whether it's 10 by 10, whether it's, the accelerator, whether it's what do I do with this specific situation. I love our mastery student calls that happen right before this. We speak for 30 minutes. It's just our mastery students within our programs. And their level of questioning is rising. Their depth in the formula is rising. Their distinctions are rising. And it happens because they ask questions boldly. So if anyone has any questions or anything they'd like to ask specifically around the 10 by 10 or the formula, we'd love to address it, especially on this Why Wednesday, whether it's from self-mastery, influence mastery, or process mastery. Let's drop some questions. If not, we can kind of jump into some dynamics that we're really focusing on, and we can kind of drive from there. But to give this beautiful movement an opportunity, is there any questions that you would like to ask? Please drop it in the chat in this moment, and we'd love to answer them.
Hey, Fernando. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much. My apologies for being on a couple minutes late. Please understand that if I'm ever behind, it is never because I have not been on Unblinded business in a big and meaningful way. So yeah, questions in the chat, phenomenal. And happy Why Wednesday. And what I'm present to this morning is the desire of our hearts and people's beautiful why, and the dreams that we all have of something more. And the desire we have to do good, to add more value, to feel that we're contributing to the lives of others, and we want to have more. And the what is the money, time, and magic. And I'm present to the human condition, that our minds, our brains are not wired to succeed. They're wired to survive. They're wired to assess danger and to avoid it. They're wired for, we joke with, my dear friend and buddy, Rob Gill, to have our head on a swivel. Like, what's happening? Like, danger, like rustling in the bushes. And it's not funny. We laugh about it, we joke about it, but it is the great challenge of our human condition, is that reflexively we react. And you're like, well, I'm logical. The most logical people in the world, people who would allege to be logical, to me are often the most fear-driven. And there's no judgment. There's an assessment. Judgment is, you're a jerk. Like, judgment is, you're bad. Judgment is, you're good, right? Assessment is, this is what's driving behavior. Assessment is, hey, that act was inconsistent with the agreement we made. You said that you would bring white chocolate, and you brought, red Swedish fish, and you promised you would deliver that for our party, and you brought like the opposite. Like, that's not the agreement, right? So assessment is looking at like what is. Judgment is assessing the whole and completeness as if it's unchangeable. So human condition challenge for logical people that I've noted is fear. And that fear is often fear of judgment, fear of rejection, rooted in desires to conform, desires to not display emotion. And that's present because, as we've all assessed and analyzed, the display of emotion in some variety is incredibly persuasive, right? So you're like, okay, what are you saying, Sean? What I'm saying is, if we're going to be in speaking, leading roles, if we're going to grow and develop our business, then we need to be very in our own self-awareness, right? We need to confront ourselves, confront in our language meaning to move through without avoiding, right? To move through without avoiding. So I am present to the difficulty for us in moving through without avoiding. It's challenging. We're busy. We have life. We have things going on. We want something. We want to commit to things. We want to build and grow things. And then we deviate. I do it. Fernando does it. You do it. We all do it. And the name of this beautiful process of a formula and more money in less time with more magic is how we solve for those challenges around a very specific structure that isn't mechanical. It isn't devoid of life and love and heart and passion and adventure and magic. In fact, it's infused throughout what we do, right? So as we drop into specific elements of coaching and dynamics, it's all rooted through the prism that what we all ultimately want is, we want love, we want growth, we want to feel safe, we want to feel excited and passion, and we want to feel them in different hierarchies. We want to feel things. We want to experience pride. We want to be recognized for who and what we are, right? And we have all those in some different balances and structures, but we want feelings, right? And we also want some things. We want companies. We want a platform. We want to have people paying attention to our message. And whether that message is like leadership inside of a company, or it's for a charity or to contribute. Yesterday we had the beautiful privilege of being at the headquarters of Operation Underground Railroad. Thank you, Courtney Epps. Thank you, Fernando, for driving. And my God, thank you, incredible team at Operation Underground Railroad for what they're doing in the world. I'll drop back on that in a moment. But for now, we all have things that we want. And here's my check-in for you. So it's practical and valuable for you today. Let's run through it. And your 10 by 10s, we want to run through this, but let's run through it in the huddle. How many ecosystems are you currently merged with? Like, for real. How many ecosystem mergers do you have? And my second question is, how valuable are they for what it is that you're up to in the world? So, example, um, if you are, let's go with a person in financial services, and your ultimate client is somebody who makes or has assets of, let's say $3 million and more. So, and you have an ecosystem merger with your cousin that's a chiropractor, that is not a particularly, that might be, and they have a chiropractic practice in a socioeconomic, middle class town of America with the average income is $50,000 of the patient base. That would be, and it's frictionless, and they'll let you do presentations once a month to their patients. You do a joint thing with the chiropractor. It's like an added value for the patients, and it's set. That would be an ecosystem merger, but the value for you and your business would be, I would say, probably a 2 or 3, and it might even be so low that it's not even worth having or counting. So as you think about ecosystem mergers, what I'm grounding us in is like the getting on the scale of, so like weighing yourself. Hey, I'm going to get in better shape. And for those of you out there in health, say weight's not the biggest thing. So maybe it's your blood sugar. Maybe it's all those. Maybe it's getting on a scale. It's your blood sugar. It's your body fat content. It's your heart rate on a stress test. It's how fast you can run a mile. Those perhaps are some of the things that one would measure in a health dynamic, but they're measurables. And we could feel our heart, and we can love ourselves, and we should, and we can love the world. And yet, if we are, triple what our body fat optimally should be, and if we can't run a mile, and if we walk around the block, our pulse rate is at 120, and that's kind of where we are, then we need corrective action while we love ourselves and while we love the world. We don't need corrective action on our heart. We need corrective action around our process mastery. So as we look at these things I'm sharing, if there's like a reflexive pull away from it right now, like assess where you are as we start the conversation of like measuring things. Please drop it in the chat. Like 10 being can't wait. It's like stop talking about anything else. This is where I am. 9 being like, yeah, like I'm ready, like I'm present. An 8 being like, yeah, like I get it. This is really important and I'm present. A 7 being, oh, I wish we were talking about something else. Like a 2 being, hey, can you just tell more inspirational stories and make me feel in my heart something? Like where are you? In that continuum. Please like drop it in the chat, because our balance of our love for people, our inspirational energy with our love and our goddess energy, our presence to like, hey, I'm happy because I'm breathing. I'm happy because I'm talking to beautiful people. I'm happy because while I'm going blind, I can hear and my voice works, my brain works. So I'm thankful and I'm happy. And that's important. And that's us being in our present goddess energy, right? With our inspirational energy of a dream and getting there and believing in impacting lives and helping thousands and millions and hopefully billions have more money and less time with more magic. Inspirational energy, having fun, be like, yeah, like, dude, it's fun. Like I could be surfing right now. That would be cool, but I'm not. I'm in a hotel in Utah. I slept for 4.5 hours because I worked 16 hours yesterday, and wow, it was fun to be present to possibility with incredible people, while it's also heartbreaking to hear the horrific behaviors of people who are hurting, that do awful things to other people. But then there's use energy. I'm going to decide what I do today. I'm going to be in decision. Matt Johnson introduced me to the word decidre from the Greek, like to decide, like is the root of Zeus energy. And to count things, to decide on things coming from our heart, our inspired and fun energy, and reframing how we associate to things and moving ourselves forward. So where are you when it comes time to step on the scale and count stuff? How do you feel? Fernando, what are we seeing in the chat? And how do you feel? You start counting things. Like, what's present for you?
Say that last question one more time, Sean.
Yeah. What's like present energetically around weighing things? Or people commenting, numbers? What's present for you when we begin to talk about the counting of things and assessing? If I go to Fernando, hey, Fernando, how many sales meetings are you having this week? Let's start there. I go, how many sales meetings are you, Fernando, having this week? What's the instant feeling it brings up? First feeling.
First feeling is I wish I didn't come to Utah. That's like first feeling. And second is the need for deeper optics. And then it's an exciting feeling because I know that sales meetings are very present and, for the rest of the month.
Cool. So, and by the way, Fernando, can you explain what you mean by wish you didn't come to Utah? Because I'm certainly very clear that of your feelings about the value and the people we're with and what's happening. So could you just explain the optics? Because I think it's a beautiful access point to decisions around time blocking. Like, please share.
Yes. So I'll start here. Insanely grateful and happy and wouldn't change the decision at all. And at the same time, it's like weighing on my heart and mind, knowing that I do know what our goals are. I do know what our numbers are. And the truth is that as of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now Thursday, I have failed and I have not hit them. And, that is like on me. And at the same time, it is not knocking my self-mastery because I know that I will hit them. But it is always present in like as Sean said, the time blocking. I know what we're doing here. I understand the vision. I know Sean understands it deeply. And in the back of my mind, I know there's certain people I want to call, certain things I want to do, certain things that I know need to be done optimally on what I call my daily method of operation to make sure that goals are hit for the week, for the day, for the month. So when I say I wish I didn't come here is because I'm very present on the importance of time, the boundaries on time, the power of saying no, and really making sure that I'm constantly in zone action. I think that's probably what I spend the most time thinking of ever since this got introduced to me by Sean. It's like a constant desire to always make sure I'm in zone action. Yeah. Because that's what drives results.
And I think this is such a beautiful, I mean, it might be hard to find a better example because like our decision-making is complicated in our self-mastery and process mastery. How do you say no to Courtney Epps' schedule, who's so beautifully offering her time, her energy, her heart to we're up to in the world and us to her, and bringing together profits and nonprofits and giving us such a beautiful and unblinded position at the middle of that? Like, how do you say no? How do you say no to a meeting with the leadership of Operation Underground Railroad? How do you say no to a meeting with the incredible people from Manna Relief? How to say no to people that are ending the drinking water problem in the nation of Liberia, excuse me, and it almost being done. Like, how do you say no to that meeting? And that's what we have on the one hand. On the other hand, this is the perfect question, how we think. How could we, like, should Fernando and I both have come? Like, it's a question. Maybe should I have just come, right? Or maybe we both should have come and we could have more effectively designed, like I still did my real raws, real opens. We could maybe more effectively design the day, but then you run into dynamics of honoring the messagings. I learned so much yesterday. I learned so much. Thank you, Courtney Epps. Thank you for this process. So what we are present to, like, why are you talking about this? We're talking about it because we want to honor the complexity of your life. We want to honor truth. We want to honor imperfection. We want to honor how to build and grow and what happens. And if we're not present to reality, like, nothing works. So we're simply going through a little bit of an exercise this morning of being always beautifully in our hearts and sharing from examples of what we're up to give you optics on some of those dynamics and things. And because, taking it to its most extreme example, you could say that all that you want to do is contribute and impact the world. But that very meeting that we're in, Courtney, we others give money. Where's that money come from? That money comes from adding more value somewhere else in somebody's life in exchange of value. So how we balance these things is wildly important, and how we take corrective action to say, okay, we're not going to really be in a wonderful position, over the next couple of weeks, because we have very specific outcomes to drive this mission of Unblinded forward, this business of Unblinded forward, because there's a mission, there's a business, there's a lot, right? So we have a lot to do. So we're going to have to really, for making the beautiful contribution of this trip, which also, by the way, of course, adds value to us, but it adds value in a longer run, not specifically. We have to be incredibly clear. It's like if you're on a diet, not a diet, you're getting, strike that, you're getting into like peak shape, and you don't work out for 3 days and you eat a lot. And there's like, you're going on stage soon, or you're going to be in some contest or doing a photo shoot that you'll be in a bathing suit for. Well, you better double down and get like ultra tight and focused, and realize that there's very little window for any strain from time blocking at this point. Like there's none. And that is how we balance the function of our heart, our mission, our desire, with also making sure it actually happens on our time blocking and our process mastering and our counting of things. So back to it, how many ecosystem mergers do you have, and of what quality? How many scheduled speaking engagements do you have, and of what quality? And we say quality, is there a call to action? Is it what's the quality of that group in terms of their need for your services? And if you're going, well, no, I'm still brand building right now, whatever, that's okay. So if it's a general brand building or skill developing talk, I'm not making that bad. We're not saying it's bad, but its value is just lower than if it was building your brand, sharpening your skills, and the audience was optimal and frictionless. So yeah, like, why don't we use that for a model until we don't? What are you getting from the talk you're doing? One, skill development should be present, and that's with you like assessing yourself. Two, it should be building your heroic, unique identity at some level, but you can assess how valuable it is based on who the audience will be, the quantity and quality audience. Third, will you be deriving sales meetings, and how optimal those sales meetings be? And four, how likely is it that people will purchase ultimately? And those are some wonderful assessment tools as you look at not only the quantity, you hear us say the quantity and quality of these things, those are qualitative assessors for the speaking engagements you're going to have. And again, as I share that, how does that feel emotionally for you? And if you feel pulled away from it, it's okay. There's no judgment, but you have a beautiful growth opportunity to shift how you're feeling about the math and the counting of things to get you ultimately to where you want to go. Because,
Sean?
Yeah, Fernando.
Just as we tap into our final five, I see that Steve G has his hand raised and like to share, and I want to just take it back to you.
Yeah, and what are you seeing real quick as we get Steve G up? Let's bring Steve G up. Fernando, what is it that you're seeing in terms of any numbers of how people are feeling about things? You have optics or no?
I do. And Unblinded team, if you can please tag in Steve G, that would be appreciated. And in the chat, Sean, as I just scroll up for a second, got a lot of 10s. I got a 6 and a 7 and some 9s, 8 wanting to be a 10, 8.5, some 7s, 9s, 8s, 8.5, I think averaging out to like a high 8.7, 8.9.
Well, then that's awesome. So that is higher than I would have hoped, and I'm happy for you. That's a beautiful thing. And let's keep challenging each other for the counting of things as we bring Steve live. And that's a beautiful thing. So where are those for you? Sales meetings, sales, disposable income. Rate your disposable income. Last one real quick. throw in there, where are you in your life on your happiness level with your disposable income? Real curious about that one. Where are you with your happiness level with disposable income? Steve, how are you?
Hey, Steve, brother, you are muted in case you are chatting. All right, Sean, he is not unmuting, so please go back and take it home.
Okay, cool. So yeah, where are you? What are we seeing in terms of where people are in the disposable income happiness level, Fernando?
So we have a 0, we have a 5, we have a 6, we have a 5, we have a 0, we have a 0.
Yeah.
We have a 5, a 4, a 0,
so
a 1.
Yeah, we need to do the counting of things. Thank you for your candor.
4. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all those people that just rated really quickly, we're going to pick up tomorrow. Now, what you think about it on rating, we're going to drop in and rate yourself and just pop it into the chat tomorrow where you are in all 6, right? Actually, just go to 3 tomorrow. Rate yourself on your happiness, your money level, your time, and your magic. 1, 2, and 3. And that's going to be a beautiful jump off an access point before we go from there. It is Why Wednesday. The action call to action for today is be in your heart, connect to your why emotionally deeply, like feel it, then immediately move into your time blocking for the day. Honor your time blocking, consistent with driving speaking engagements, sales meetings, sales, and ecosystem mergers if you have no access to those things. Have a beautiful day, and thanks.